Today, we're shooting at 40 yards at a 2-inch black dot. Shout out to Tim Groover, one of my subscribers. He's mentioned this a couple times now. This is one of the strategies he uses for practice. It's an easy contrast with the black dot with your pin, and then you can tell if your shot is breaking to the left, right, bottom, top. So this will be pretty cool. I'm excited to see how this works for me and possibly incorporate this more in the future. My initial thoughts are that the dot might be a little small for my pin, and the pin might cover it up a little too much, but I could be wrong about that. So I'll shoot a few and I'll kind of give you guys my feedback after this shooting. I was a little low when that went off. It went off a little prematurely before I could get through my process. So that one was on me, but who knows? I can't see it. It looks like it might have hit the dot. That one felt like it was pretty well on the dot when it went off. That one felt like it was on the dot but slightly high. So what that tells me is maybe I jerked it as I was pulling through, or I just reacted, because it looks like it's hitting to the bottom right, pretty far outside of the circle. Yeah, that is interesting being able to tell, because at 60 yards, usually I don't know which arrow is which until I watch the footage back, unless I'm pulling up my binos in between every shot, or I have my lighted nocks, which in less than a week, they're all blown up. Those did not last very long. All right, so let's go check it out. Initial thoughts after one end. I think I actually like this. It's nice that you're not like worrying about points. It's either in or it's out. And so far, I do wish the dot was maybe just a tad bigger, maybe like a 2.25. I'm not going to worry about performance while I'm shooting, at least not today. Just working on my form and telling like where it's breaking. But maybe I will go back and look at the percentage, and then maybe in the future I will kind of look at where I'm at as far as the percentage of in versus out. So initial end, 2 arrows in, 1 arrow out. All I did to make these, if anyone's wondering, is I just went on paint. I just looked up how many pixels it takes to make a circle, and then I made 2, 3, and 4-inch dots. I think this will be good to play around with different yardages with different size dots to see what works and what I think works best for me at different yardages. Just gonna send it, as they say. Just need some pit vipers. I don't know if I just yanked it right at the end. I didn't feel like I did. Or if it was just naturally my arm kind of moving right as the shot was breaking. That one, it was just hard for me to acquire my target. For whatever reason, it just, sometimes it's hard for me to get it on target. All right. Not a great end. That one was definitely, it dropped low. I'm kind of having issues just staying on target right now. It's just not, I just can't get my pin to stay steady. Just one of those days, maybe. Let's get a better few shots here. I always try to tell myself it's not a bad day of shooting, it's just a bad end. I think that's a good philosophy for life, though. It always sucks when you got a lot of bad things or just a shitty day. Don't write it off as a shitty day, because then the rest of the day is going to be shitty. Just say, yeah, it's a couple bad things, or a bad hour, or just one bad thing, but the rest of the day will be good. All right, enough philosophy. That one was hard to tell. It was definitely dancing all over all over the dot. It is one of those days where I'm just not holding steady, but I just need to embrace it and just let it float all over the dot and just slowly pull through. It's easy to shoot good on those days where you feel steady because it's just parking right on the target. What the difficult thing is when you have a day where you're not steady, or what I've found is I just need to accept it and I just need to let it float and pull through. Those are the days that I struggle. And today is one of those days. I feel great about that one. It doesn't seem too bad on those last two. Looks like they're slightly low. Only 1 out of 3 in the black there. I'm not too mad about that. Just based on, just felt like I was starting to lose it. Brought it back and just focused on just pulling through the shot and letting it float on the last end, even though they didn't all land great. So I took that yard off earlier. I think judging by where they're landing, I'm going to put it back on, go right back to 40. That one just must have dropped. That one felt good. Felt like I released right on with that one. That one was floating a little bit, but it felt like it broke in the dot. Not bad. 2 out of 3 landed in the dot. I will take that, especially today. That one looks right on. I feel good about that. That was one of those shots where I lost my target and I had to reacquire it. So that added like a second or more onto it. And that can be bad for me sometimes when I'm on and then it just floats off the target and I need to get it back on again. That can result in some bad shots for me. Felt like a solid shot. Felt like it released right on. Looks like it hit left though. You know, after my initial reaction of enjoying this, I don't know if it's just today and how I'm shooting, I feel like this dot is actually giving me a little bit of anticipation in shooting, which I rarely have anymore. I think I'm very good at pulling through my shot and not hammering the trigger and not getting anticipation. But if I do get it, for me it happens with my front arm. I end up just jerking it around. I don't hammer the trigger, I just move my front arm in anticipation of the shot going off. And I wonder if that's what I'm doing today and if that dot is really bringing it in because I'm trying to release it in the dot, hold it as steady as possible without hammering the trigger. That one felt a little low. Didn't feel like a bad shot. Just felt like it was low. Is kind of where it was sticking and where it was holding when I was pulling through. My wind is picking up. Pretty calm at the moment, but had some big gusts while I was grabbing those arrows. So 1 out of 3 in the black dot right there. Felt like a good shot. I think I moved a little bit to the left as it was going off. I feel like they're just breaking left today. They're just breaking to the left. All 3 of those broke to the left. One wasn't bad, just outside the black dot. Not a terrible grouping at all for 40 yards. I think I need to be a little less harsh on myself. That felt decent. Decent shot. I was all over the place with that one. Pin would not stop moving. Not that it ever does, but you know what I mean. That was a good letdown. Good letdown. Kept having to reacquire the target. Lately my eyes have been getting pretty dry. I've been blinking a lot in the middle of the shot. Didn't used to do that at all. Last week it's been happening a little bit. Felt like a solid shot right there. I do like the ratio of a 2-inch dot for 40 yards. I've always heard that like groupings are good like by the inch per 10 yards. So a 2-inch group at 20, a 4-inch group at 40. That's acceptable, I should say. I think I've heard that that is like acceptable goal to get to be sufficient at hunting. My goal has always been half that, which is basically this dot right here, a 2-inch dot at 40 yards. Felt like it released to the left on that one. What is going on with this release right now? That one was definitely holding to the right as I was pulling through. Sometimes it just seems like it parks on the wrong spot. Oh man. Yeah, my arm's starting to get tired now. I could feel it. Just harder to keep it on target right there. And just yanked it up right before it released. Felt like it was just parked on the dot at first, and then of course it moved off right as I was pulling through. That went off before didn't even go through and say my process. I don't know where that one hit, or where it was even holding. I don't know. All right, I'm just getting quick ends in right here, just grabbing my arrows and shooting the ends. Yeah, I'm just not feeling it today, not shooting great, but is what it is. I'm just gonna get reps in, try to focus on just pulling through my shot, and I'm gonna do some static holds here, probably after this end, and then call it a day. That felt like a solid shot. I will take that one. That broke pretty close to right on. That one was floating all over the place. Felt like it broke a little to the right, but we'll see. That was not a bad group at all. I will take it, especially based on today. So yeah, we're going to call it after that end. I think that's a good one to end off on. It's always good to leave off on a decent end when you're having one of those days of shooting. So what I'm going to do now is these last 3 arrows I'm going to do just a long static hold for. I'm just going to go with how my arm feels. Go until it feels like it's almost going to give out while still being able to hit the target somewhere. Looks like a real low shot, almost hit the wood. So that was 60 seconds before I got back into my pin, or got back into my sight. I will do that on those long holds. I will actually pull my head out of the peep. I know if you're in a hunting situation, that's probably not what you want to do. You want to be able to quickly acquire your target. When I'm practicing like this, when I do that, my vision gets all messed up and blurry, like towards the end of shooting for the day. And then if I do that, sometimes I won't be able to focus and I'll like actually lose the whole picture. It's kind of weird. When I'm shooting a lot of arrows back to back to back, a lot of ends without taking any breaks, my right eye gets really blurry. I think it's just my brain because it's like focusing too much on that one eye. So 60 seconds, I'm gonna go for anywhere between probably 30 on this one. That one was a little long. It got real sketchy towards the end. So at the end of that, I almost couldn't even see that black dot. Like it was there, but I couldn't focus this on it. It was like shifting to like the right, which is really weird. I'll probably just go for 15 seconds on this one. I think that last arrow was actually a good release. I think it's near the black dot, so that's not bad. So I ended up doing 25 on that one. I hit 15 and I was like, this isn't much at all. And then I was like, let's go for 30. And I hit 20. And I was like, that's probably not a good idea. Fun trying out this new strategy, black dot on a white paper. So you got good contrast with your pin and you can tell where it's breaking. It'll be fun to play around with the different sizes of the dot with different yardages. I'm going to do that more in the future. I'm going to start incorporating this more into my training. It wasn't a fantastic day of shooting, but that is what it is. And sometimes it's good to show that on someone that is learning and is new to archery. I have my good days and my bad days, and these are the days where it gets frustrating. If you like this video, like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.